Hello, everybody. Welcome. We're hopping back into Planescape Torment today. I think this is the third stream that I've done this. I think the first one was a little short. Hey Senzu. Right when I tried starting the stream the first time, my power flickered, and that shut the internet off. So hopefully that does not happen again. We will see. But yeah, let's hop into it. So last time we ended, hey Cass, thanks for the alert. Last time we were talking to this Kandrian guy who knows all sorts of stuff about the planes. We learned all kinds of things. And we saw an option to ask him to help out a woman named Ingress, who's afraid to walk anywhere in this city, because this is the city of doors and there's portals everywhere. She's just been afraid to move for like decades or something. I met a woman named Ingress with very bad teeth. She said she had come through a portal from some world that was opened by a tune hummed near two crossed trees. Can you get her home? Oh jeez, my voice is having issues. Give me a second. He pauses, briefly thinking, I know the portal of which you speak, though I have not traveled it these 30 years gone. I will take her home, Seeker. Go tell her to await my arrival. Then meet me back here, and I will tell you if I was successful or not.
Updated my journal.
Okay. Let's go do that.
All right.
I am going to have to take a few short breaks relatively early in the stream, but we'll hope to avoid doing that too much or having them go too long. Okay, I'm coming over here, taking a brief stop over here, because last time there was a guy here who just wanted to fight us. We did end up able to kill him, but I'm almost curious. But I think he might be involved in a quest later on if we don't kill him. Melric, the rake chaser, is standing here staring off into space. He seems oblivious to his surroundings. Greetings. He flinches, startled out of his meditations. As he sees you, a look of panic begins to creep over his features. Okay, yeah, he doesn't actually have anything to say. So, I think these two people are part of the unfinished business mod. And they come into play with that quest later on. Okay, this guy, who we talked to earlier, but I don't know if we exhausted the dialogue options. So I'm just gonna check that real quick. Okay, hold on. Why are all the trees dying? Just look at your surroundings, friend. Can you imagine anything having an easy life here? And besides, the wretched conditions, the Davis rarely come to this part of Sigil. Davis? You know, Davis. Surely you've seen them. They're the Lady Servants. They care for the city. Some parts of it more than others, of course. He looks sadly at the tree beside him. The Lady of Pain? Friend, the mistress of Sigil? He stops speaking suddenly, makes a semicircular sign over his chest. He leans close to whisper. Does no good to speak of the lady. Know only that she alone controls the city, whether it appears that way at times or not, and speak of her no more. Very well, why don't the Davis come here? The Hive's a dangerous place, but that's not it. The Davis have the lady watching over him, and no one's foolish enough to tangle with her. Friend, I suppose it's really all on account of Fell. Who's Fell? Fell? He's, well, friend, I'll just say he's the only Davis that doesn't serve the lady. I don't know the whole dark of it, as they say, but he's shunned by his fellows, and lives here, alone in the Hive. He runs a tattoo parlor, but most of Sigil is wary of the place. Tell me about this tattoo parlor. Fell's parlor is only a few buildings east of here. It's marked with his personal symbol, a white oval pierced by a lightning bolt. I've never been there myself, friend, but as I understand it, he's able to turn images from speech. Davis speak in images, yes? Rebus's? Yes, go on. He nods. So he's somehow able to turn images from his speech into tattoos, and not just ordinary inkings either. I'm told there's magic about them, and more than just in their making. I don't know much else about it, though. What's there to be wary of? Well, friend, since he turned from the lady, many people think it's just a matter of time before her shadow falls on him. No one wants to be about when and if that happens, I'm sure. You don't have any idea how I came to be shunned? Like I said, friend, I'm not too sure. I've only heard vague rumors about him being on the wrong side of the issue when some power decided to butt heads with the lady. You could always try and ask him, friend. I'm told he's friendly enough, if not a little odd. Some power? A deity? Friend? A god? Normally the lady has no problems with the likes of them, as she keeps their lot out of Sigil entirely. His name was Asakar, but I don't know much about the affair. His name was? The man nods gravely. As I understand it, the lady destroyed him. I wouldn't forget that, if you were ever to consider messing about with her or her servants. What can you tell me about this place? It's the worst Sigil has to offer, friend. Not much else to say about it. He smiles sadly. What if I was looking for work? In the Hive? Unless you're a thief, I doubt you'll find any. You could always gather corpses and haul them to the mortuary gates if you're that desperate. I hear the dustmen pay pittance for them. In an effort to keep the Hive streets and alleyways from becoming even more foul. What if I wanted to enjoy myself? Well, friend, it takes a certain sort to find anything of amusement in a place like this. I'd look for entertainment in another ward if I were you. Safer. What's dangerous? Here? Everything, friend. Everything. Well, maybe not me. Eh. Okay.
All right.
I'm gonna go, find... Ingress again. She should be over here somewhere. I don't know how far she, wanders. Looks like not very far. You see, Ingress. Greetings. Eh? You. He squints at you. What's it you want of me now? You wanted me to leave? Not leaving the city, so I'm not. I can't. Try it. It's not a city. It's a prison to everywhere. Ingress, I found someone who can take you back to your home plane. Ingress falls silent. I want to go. Want to leave this place. His name is Kandrian. He should be along shortly to help you. Trust him, all right? She says nothing, merely nods quietly, her teeth chattering inside her mouth.
Updated my journal.
Supposed to, go back and see if he was successful. These sturdy pylons support the ramshackle roof. The metal table is scarred with talons, knives, teeth, and the marks of innumerable tavern brawls. Like the air around it, it's warm to the touch. Cantrine? Cantrine stands as you approach him. The Tooth Woman wanted you to have these, he says, holding out his hand. She wanted to express her thanks. Even out the balanced book, as it were, and be done with the damned things. In the palm of his hand are Ingris's dancing teeth, and he smoothly deposits them into your hand.
Updated
Enjoy,
my journal.
Seeker.
Skills have increased.
Okay. Still got, like 20,000 more before level 7?
Yeah.
Morty here. Okay, let's look at what we got here. This is a handful of Ingris's living teeth. Apparently, they didn't want to go with her back through the portal over to her home plane. They rattle amongst themselves. Whenever they are held close together, they remind you of a bunch of creepy ivory hopping bugs. You examine Ingris's teeth. You can't shake the resemblance to ivory bugs. You get the feeling that they are looking at you expectantly, awaiting some command. Hey Morty, come here for a minute. Morty floats over. What's the chant, Chief? See these teeth? He glances at your palm. Yeah. He seems morbidly fascinated. Ugly little Burks, aren't they? Do you think you could use them somehow? As a weapon, maybe? Bar that, he shudders. Would you want those things in you? Come on, Morty, they seem to like you. Look at the way they're staring at you. Those little pikers better not come anywhere near me or I'll... He pauses. You know, I have no idea how to threaten teeth. Well, alright, I'm not gonna force... Uh-oh. What's wrong? Morty floats in closer and glances at your palm. Hey, they look like they're planning something, don't they? They sure do, don't they? What happens next is difficult to describe and painful to watch. Faster than you can close your palm, the teeth hop out of your hand and swarm onto Morty's jaw. Morty howls as Ingris's teeth promptly rip out his old teeth and then jump into the exposed cavities. Morty! Morty continues howling. The teeth settle in, adjusting themselves and planting their roots with a horrid drilling noise. Morty, you okay? He doesn't seem to hear you. He keeps howling and howling, then suddenly starts smashing his teeth together. He gets in 3 powerful bites before the upper and lower teeth lock together and prevent him from opening his mouth. Wow. Morty mumbles something at you, his eyes wide. Morty, are you okay? The teeth suddenly unlock and Morty takes a deep breath. I will kill you for this. You planned that, I know it. Look, I didn't mean that to happen. I even warned you. How do they feel? Morty moves his jaw around experimentally. Odd, but not bad. Suddenly, the teeth extend into fangs. Ooh, they change. They shrink down to normal, then fangs again, then normal. I think I'm gonna like these. I'm sorry, Morty. I didn't mean you any harm. Oh, I'll still get you for this, he replies. He grins, his teeth turning into fangs again. Just you wait. Revenge never helped anyone, Morty. Let's go. You turn around to go on your way when you suddenly hear Morty let loose another howl of pain. Oh no, what happened now? You turn to face Morty again, only to see the teeth finish ripping themselves loose from his mouth and leap backward towards you. You catch them easily. Morty, still grumbling, grunts painfully. I don't know, it seemed like everything was fine for a minute there, but then they ripped themselves out again. The teeth grip themselves into your hand in a way so as to somehow face Morty, and then clack twice at him fiercely. I think they're angry with you, Morty. Oh, I see. Wait, what? They're mad at me? Why? Well, you did insult them, remember? Ugly little barks, little pikers. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Come on, Chief, give them back. Wait, you want them now? Can I assume your vow of revenge against me has been tabled? Morty looks annoyed. Well, it's just they might, be useful. He tries to ignore your grin. All right, yes, I retract my vow of hideous revenge against you. You're one lucky sod, too, I might add. It would have been horrifying. Happy? Can I have him back now? All right, then, here you go. As you move to hand them back to Morty, the teeth crawl up your arm until they arrive at your shoulder, chittering and occasionally clacking angrily at Morty. I don't think they're gonna be happy until they get an apology, Morty. I know, I didn't hear you right, boss. I think that they did what they did to make a point, Morty. But now that it's made, well, you did taunt them. And we know how good you are at that. Sometimes there's a price, He sighs. It's times like this I really miss having eyelids, so I can close them and count to 10. He pauses. Alright, Teeth, Wait, no, saw that? I can't do it. There's only so much a skull can take. I'm not going to give an apology to a bunch of ugly, yellowed, rotting teeth. Uh-oh. The teeth chatter with outrage for a while and then clack sharply twice more at Morty before settling down. You're not sure how you can tell that they're sulking, but you're pretty sure that's what they're doing. Well, alright, Morty, if you insist, I'll just put these powerful enchanted shape-changing teeth, that, by the way, I suspect are capable of learning and will grow more powerful and magical as you do, in this pouch here. You let me know when you change your mind. Morty winces painfully. Boss? This may be the most humiliating moment of my entire career as a memer. We all have our torments, Morty. Looks like today is yours. Well, he groans. All right. He appears to steel himself, then says, Teeth, I'm sorry, really. You're no uglier than any other enchanted bicuspids I've ever encountered before. You're as nice a shade of yellow as can really go on teeth. And the rotting crack was totally out of line. I hereby tender my apologies and offer to make amends. All right? Hey, that actually wasn't that bad. Better than I expected, anyway. What do you say, Teeth? The teeth chitter for a bit, almost as if they're considering it. After a moment, they turn to face Morty and clack once, then settle down comfortably in your shoulder. I think they're satisfied, Morty. I think they're leaving it up to me as when and whether or not to equip you with them. He sighs. Fine, whatever. You're the boss. I'll be over here nursing what's left of my ego back to health. Can we go now? Let's. Okay, Inger's teeth. So this does 1 to 6 crushing damage versus 1 to 3.
Hey.
And what happens if I use them? Examine Ingress's teeth. You can't check the reason why. Okay, already said that. I want you to become a magical weapon. The teeth rattle about wildly, then settle down. After a brief moment, they begin to emit a magical glow. Okay, so 1 to 6 plus 1. So I think depending on like your level or maybe Morty's level, they will level up. Yeah, the teeth may gain new options and abilities as Morty goes up in levels. Okay, cool. So we got Morty some teeth. Okay, I'm gonna take a really quick break and I'll be right back. Alright, so I guess we can continue wandering around this bar talking to people. Got a cool enchanted weapon for Morty. Can also see if there's any things to like look at here. These red hot pipes do nothing to alleviate the already warm air. Okay, let's talk to Ebb Creekness. You see a slightly stooped old man with a full gray beard and a lion's mane of gray hair. He wears a couple of shoulder guards as armor, and he keeps a helmet nearby. He smokes a pipe and carries a pouch of tobacco around his waist. He looks pretty strong, but he's a little plump and also appears to have some sort of breathing trouble. Well now, aren't you a sight, lad? Never have I seen so many scars blanketing a fellow. Like a scar cloak you're wearing. Where you been, hanging out in a grain thresher? He laughs. Oh, I'm just jesting you, lad. No offense meant. And I hope no offense taken. I'm Ebb. He extends his hand. Greetings, Ebb. His handshake is firm. Now I hereby tender my apologies for the unfair jesting, lad. Hope no hard feelings. Can I buy you a tankard or two of something to smooth many ruffled feathers? Why not? That's the spirit, lad. Bide a moment. He rises to his feet and heads to the bar. After a moment, he returns to his seat with a pair of tankards. Here you go, lad. Drink up. He takes a massive swallow from his own tankard, puffs on his pipe, and says, What can old Ebb do for you on this fine sigil day? I had some questions about this place. Oh, well, I gather that just to look at you. I mean, you don't look like you're from around these parts, lad. You look a little too out of sorts to be a seasoned native. He chuckles, then takes another drink. So what can I help you with, lad? Need to know the lay of the land? He winks. Who are you? Ebb Creekness, third measure of the harmonium. Now retired and being a tout with one's voice. Since I don't step as lightly as I might these past 2 or 3 decades, he chuckles. Now, lad, who be you and what trouble might you be in? Third measure of the harmonium? He puffs out slightly in pride and gets a semi-stern look on his face. Aye, third measure of the harmonium. He relaxes a little. Though I haven't served a tour of duty in many a decade, pushing a quill wasn't quite up my alley after all the fights and skirmishes I've been in, so I just bide my time keeping tabs on things down here in the hive and helping out a little where I can. And you look like someone who might need a hand. You in some kind of trouble? What fights and skirmishes have you been in? He rolls his eyes. More than I can remember, lad. Well, almost more than I can remember. Leastways, I did an all too long tour in the Blood War, that infernal muck-up war of lies on Terras. Far too many years in the Black Centuries War. Ed begins to tick off the wars on his fingers and counts silently to himself. Yeah, then there was the Three Plains Wars, and many others. I even took part in the Harmonian War of Liberation. Oh, towards the end there, I was also in the Sigil City Watch. Some could argue that was the most dangerous of them all, he laughs loudly. The mention of the Blood War feels like a cold dagger slipping into your heart. Tell me more of the Blood War. He sighs, oblivious to your reaction. Aye, the Blood War. The most dangerous family feud this side of the primordial soup. The mean-spirited mama fiends on one side, a batch of warmonger fiends on the other. It's the war that creation sparked, and they've been digging into each other ever since. 2 sets of fiend warring against each other, eh? Aye, the Tanari, vicious killers who care for none but themselves. And the Beatsu war machine, all for law and order under their infernal rules. The whole mess spills out into other planes from time to time, and it's made the multiverse a less pleasant place to live. I'm missing a journal. You're missing a journal? Was there more to the journal than just pages and words? Otherwise, I can't imagine too many bloods who would bother themselves with letters unless it was really hot and spicy. Not much use for books of learning around here. I don't know where you might find such a thing. He puffs on his pipe and then snaps his fingers. But you know, lad, if Farad is the one who scraped you off the Sigil Street, then he might know the dark of where your stuff is. It's most likely in his larder, if you ask me. A dead man is usually in no position to keep his possessions when the collectors tumble across his body. That's amusing that, we didn't actually tell him we woke up in the mortuary, but he I already knew you were dead. Slight little, I don't know if bug's the right word, but... Tell me about Farid. Well, now, I don't know everything there is to know about old Farid, but I know the dark surrounding him. If you're determined to track down that spider and nail him to a wall, then I suppose I can spill some of the chant so you know what you're tingling with. He pauses to tamp his pipe. Farid dug his nest into Ragpicker Square not too long ago. Got a bunch of collectors and gangs together, and started what one could almost consider a collecting faction. Be that as it may. Where can I find him? Well, lad, if you're looking for Farid, which I would say is pretty barmy of you, you're a little off the beaten path. You want to be finding Ragpicker Square. Chant is he's set up his kip somewhere in there. Even an old fellow like me who's been around the ring a few times don't know exactly where. I figure that Farid wants to keep the dark on his location dark. If you're all bound and determined to find him, go to Ragpicker Square and try and dig up Farid's location from some of the locals. Try and be careful about it, though, since there's plenty in the square that would make you gut harp out of you as soon as you look at you. Who are you? Ebb Creekness. Oh, wait. Yeah. What makes you think I'm in trouble? Lad, no one has as many scars as you, and hasn't been in some sort of trouble, either from himself or from others. He looks at you in mock reproach. What do you make old Ebb for, blind? Ha! I'm a little weathered around the edges, but I still got some sight and sense. Now, what's dogging your heels? Be causing such trouble? Mayhap I can help you, eh? A few troubles. Woke up in the mortuary and seem to have forgotten who I am. Yeah? He blinks, then frowns. What was that you said? That you woke up in the mortuary. Studies you closely. Oh no, they mistake you for dead under all them scars, mayhap. He chuckles. Can't say I would have been any smarter. He puffs his pipe. Them dusties. He catches himself. I mean, them dustmen. Dusties being a rude term to refer to them pale-faced fellas, and I don't mean them too much disrespect. They have all the perceptions and friendliness of a gravestone. Sometimes, eh? Can't say I couldn't see him screwing that up. No, lad. What's a tout? Well now, it's a good thing you asked that, because now you told me that you're green and a tout's about the best person a clueless could have run into on the streets of Sigil, and I'm just the man someone like you is in need of. Takes a drink. A tout's a friendly city guide. Shows you what's what, and gives you a little jaunt around the town. A guide, aye. A guide is the best way to look at it. Except I don't really leave this chair on account of my age, so mostly I suggest directions and places you might want to see in your travels in our fair city. Doesn't cost you a cent. Why is it free? A tout who can't move, can't command much of a price, lad. By the powers, 'twould be unfair to charge for just a bag of words. How old are you? Old enough to know better, lad, and too old to walk much. He puffs on his pipe. Let's just say my best years are behind me, and there's only a few irons that keep this heart beating. What irons? Well, lad, not to bring down the conversation, but I'm hoping that one day a holy fellow will be making his way to the old smoldering corpse bar, and hopefully will shrive me on some of my private sins so I can go on and step off this plane for good. What is this place? You're in the smoldering corpse bar, lad. Not a pretty place as, not as pretty a place as others, but it's got some homespun kind of charm. Tell me about the patrons here. Well, you got O, who claims to be a letter instead of a person. Some mercy killers waiting around for a criminal. Pair of a Bishai on furlough from the Blood War. A Githseri over there who's been watching you from afar. Not too unusual, mind you. They're period cutters. And Elias down there, a clueless kid whose breeches seem to be just a little bit too tight, if you get my meaning. If you're wanting information on the plains, talk to Andrian Ilborn over there. He knows more than most I know. Who's the smoldering corpse? Him? Oh, no corpse, lad, no dead or him. Near as we can tell, old Ignis is still alive inside that roast pit. Near as we can figure, anyway. He wrinkles his nose. He can smell damnably awful sometimes, too. Keeps me on the pipe, and make sure it don't worm its way into my nose it does. How did he get there? He takes a smoke from his pipe for a moment, as if deciding how to phrase his comment. Well now, lad, Ignis had a smattering of problems, and some not slight wizardly magics to boot. And seldom do the two mix well, if you understand me. He puffs his pipe and smoke trails up. Well, he liked to burn things, and he started torching places and people, and generally making a bunch of trouble, and, well, now most of this was going on in the Hive, and I'll be the first to admit that the Hive is not the first place the Harmonian goes to keep Sigil's law. He looks a little shamefaced. A failing on our part, since it may be the place where our presence is most needed. So, by the lady's reckoning, there was little street-side justice in the wizardly community. A bunch of tea leaf readers, hedge wizards, and midwife witches got together and managed to weave a spell that was kind of a poetic justice. He gestures with his pipe at the figure, so now he sits there and burns. He's still alive, which I don't think they counted on. What's good to drink here? Well, not some say I've got all discrimination when it comes to drink, but I've got drinks I'm partial to, and some vintages to which I'm not. Actually, one of my favorite little things to get here is some Arborean fire seeds. You swirl them in your mouth, add a little air, and some spit and some alcohol, and you can breathe a little fire when you need to. Leastways, that's how it feels. Interesting.
I had to wake up from the dead in a place like this.
Tell me a sigil and its environs. He laughs loudly. You don't think small, do you? If you want to know what's outside the city, go talk to Kandri Nelborn over there. He's the traveler of this place. As for the rest of it, well, I can tell you of the lady, the Davis, keys and portals, the way we keep track of time, the way the city's laid out. What is it you wanted to know? Tell me of the lady. Well, no, not many know much about her, and I'm figuring even those that know more than a little don't know too much more. She's a mystery, she is. And even should you run across her, powers forbid, she's silent and deadly. She's not evil, as far as I can tell, but she keeps the dark about herself, and Sigil pretty tight. None's been able to penetrate it, and if they have, they've been mazed. Mazed? What do you mean? Aye, sometimes bloods will be packed off to a place where they can't do no harm. The lady, see? She'll take a bit of sigil and make a little dimensional pocket out of it. A maze. She places those that have crossed her in there and lets them rot. He pulls his pipe. Now, you can't escape getting mazed once the lady sets her gaze on you, lad. She'll get you eventually, no matter how hard you try and dodge her. You'll be walking down an alley, or step through a portal, or take a left turn down a street. You've gone many-fold times before, and suddenly you're someplace you don't recognize. Now, mazes aren't escape-proof. There's always a way out of each of them. A portal the lady places there. Just have to figure out where it is and how to use it. Chances are you won't meet the lady unless you do something really bad. Hurting a lot of people, killing Davis, challenging her rule, worshipping her, she hates that, we figure, or interfering with the Davis's work, which may as well be the lady's work. If you're lucky, just the mercy killers will come for you. But if she comes, you'll be dead as soon as her shadow falls on you. Now, the lady can do almost anything in Sigil, lad, near as we can follow. Make it bigger or smaller, make new portals, seal off old ones, make sure the blood war don't break out into the streets, keep folks from teleporting into the city, keeping the powers out. Who are the powers? It's another way of saying gods, lad, and there's a great horde of them across the plains. Takes a puff from his pipe. They can't come to Sigil, though. The lady has a way of keeping them out that she hasn't spilled the chant to yet. Be that as it may, it's kept Sigil from being seized by outside interests. Tell me the Davis. Aye, those funny floating bloods that speak in symbols. He laughs. Quite a piece of work, eh? The Davis are the kind of the lady's janitors and workmen, doing exactly what she wants. Make sure sigils running up to snuff, patching walls, tearing down buildings, building new ones, setting up portals, sealing off others, and on and on. They're a pretty neutral faring bunch, and you don't want to interfere with one or kill one, or you'll bring the lady's wrath down on you right quick. Okay, I need to step away for just another second. I'll be right back. Alrighty. Tell me of sigil's time. The way we measure time in sigil by the brightness of the sky. See, we haven't got a sun and moon like most worlds. We just got this everlasting haze that brightens and darkens at regular cycles. What most folks call midnight, we call anti-peak. They call noon, we call peak. See, it's based on the peak and anti-peak of the brightness. So when someone says something about 5 hours past peak, that's what they mean. Tell me the city's layout. Let me wet my tongue. He takes a pull from his tankard. The city floats above an infinitely tall spire. The spire. It lies on its side like a discarded wagon wheel, but there's no spokes that connect it to the spire. It's divided into 6 wards, each of them with its own function. Right now, you're in the Hive. I think the purpose of the Hive is to be squalor to the rest of the city's grandeur. He laughs. Factions, philosophical clubs, or gangs, if you prefer. Divide up running the city between them. Were you in a faction? He raises his hand as if to stop and even laughs. Oh, now hold on, lad. I'm no has-been faction member. They say, and they're right, that once you're a member of the Harmonian, you're a Harmonian for life. We're the Bloods that try and make sure Sigil stays out of trouble. No rocking the spire. No folks getting too overenthusiastic about hurting each other. Keeping the city down to a low roar. We try and keep the peace, lad. And most times, we do a decent job. Okay, tell me more about the layout. The city's called the Crossroads of the Plains, and the City of Doors and the Cage. It's got portals to all of creation, they say. And all manner of beasties come through here to trade, call kip, or hop from one place to another. Now that's just the quick version, lad. You'll have to experience the place for yourself. You mentioned something about portals? Sigil's called the City of Doors for a reason, lad. There's portals everywhere. Portals are, like doors that lead across the multiverse. Except they don't look like doors. Instead, they can be any bounded space. Window, door, pothole, picture frame, barrel hoop. The spaces inside scaffolding, a wardrobe. Each could be a portal, waiting for just the right key to open it, and take you someplace else in the multiverse. Now keys. Go on. Each portal has a key you need to open it. Now all portals can be in any bounded space. Keys have more variety. They can be anything from a little tune you hum when next to a portal, to a dancing jig, to being in the right mood, to having a piece of the place you want to go in your hand, and on and on. In my youth, I once convinced a girl that kissing a man beside it could open a portal to Arcadia. Turned out I was right. And many trips to Arcadia did we have. Many portals probably have never been found. There's some you can uncover just by asking people and getting the right key. Finding out the dark of a portal is the toughest part. But I warn you, lad, portal hopping shouldn't be a pastime for a fella in your way. Nor should you be wandering Sigil after dark, neither. You do best to stick to the main ways, in open peak, and watch yourself. Okay, looks like, other places can you recommend? Well, he pusses on his pipe and studies you. This is perhaps the best kip you could have wandered into from the start. Judging by your tattoos, you might be a little partial to having designs on your body. in which case there's a tattoo salon, a little spireward from here. You want to stay away from the alley of dangerous angles if you can. Ignis torched that place not long ago, and ever since, a bunch of bad bloods have set up their kip in that stretch of desert. Okay. Hold on. I want to, I want to see if that guy can train me. I assume people will tell me they can train me even if I'm not a fighter. But I'm gonna check real quick. Hmm. I will assume that when someone can teach me weapon stuff,
One foot in the grave,
they'll
the
tell
other
me
in
even if
hell,
I'm not a fighter at the moment. Okay, let's talk to Elias. You see a trim, muscular man dressed in clothing that is comparatively drab and mundane compared to most of the outfits you've seen in the city. He carries himself with an air of supercilious arrogance. He also looks dramatically out of place. What do you want? He asks. Who are you? I am Elias, warrior of renown. Surely you've heard of me. No. Can it truly be? Can it truly be that none in this town have heard of me or my exploits? Alas, I shall have to prove myself all over again. And here I had thought my fame had spread across the world. What world are you from? I come from the city of Aliburn on the river Tame. Surely you've heard of its glories and wonders. No matter, no matter. This place is benighted and ignorant when it comes to the splendors of true cities. I am told that my land is what is called a prime by the denizens of this city. Though a prime of what? I don't know. How'd you get here? I was chasing my old foe, the villainous life shade Tyr Tanalil. He pauses, waiting for acknowledgement, then continues. He conjured his demonic magic and opened himself a doorway and hurled himself through it. Before he could fool me entirely, I threw myself after him and found myself here. That sounds like quite an adventure. I had other questions for you. Who are the patrons of this tavern? I have met only the elderly Upcreekness, who has been instructing me in the ways of the city and the plains. My foe's spell must have catapulted us far across the world, where I know no plains near our former location. Ah, no. Not plains, Planes. No. Planes, as in planes of existence. They are planes of imagination, of thought and belief. Not physical prairies or grasslands, but other dimensions. A look of confusion passes across his face. I understand what the old man is starting to make sense. Said is starting to make sense. Excuse me, I must think this over. Farewell. Huh. We, got experience for that. 1 second. I wonder if there's any quest lines for this. So, just finished talking to him. Okay, what can you tell me about this place? I do not know. When I arrived here, I realized I needed a place to regain my bearings. Imagine my shock at discovering that even a simple tavern in this part of the world is populated by the eccentrics and crazies. I have truly been transported to a madhouse. Looking for a journal, you seen one? I'm afraid I have not been searching for such items. I am doing my best to reorient myself to this unfamiliar setting, and while I focus on small details in my attempt to do so, I must confess I have not been looking for a journal of any sort. I wonder if anything happens if we call him Clueless. I get it, you're one of the Clueless. He bristles, reddening, and his hand clutches convulsively around the hilt of his sword. Clueless, is it? I take offense to your words, sirrah, and bid you farewell, in the hopes we should never cross paths again. Turns away from you, still flushed with pride and rage. I'd like to apologize. He appears entirely shocked, as if the motion of apologies is alien to him. You wish to apologize? That's what I said. Then, and I suppose as a point of honor, I must accept your apology. Very well. In return, I offer my apology as well. And I set the matter aside and speak of it no more. Interesting. Okay. Doesn't seem like we really get anything from going that line of speaking. This bar has seen a lot of use. The scoring of weapons and talons does not mask the grimy buildup of years' worth of drinks that encrust the bar.
I'm gone.
We've got the, I assume the barkeep here. Barkus. Got Ilquix. We've got a Mercy Killer patron. Actually, many of them. But one of them's walking around. Talk to this guy. You see a lad who barely looks a day over 18. His face seems to betray some tension. Help you, Cutter? Who are you? I'm Caleb, a Mercy Killer. I'm here with Tonner and Sildon to catch my first criminal. What can you tell me about the Mercy Killers? Sorry, I have to get used to saying that now. Oh, I have to get used to saying that now. Believe that justice is the most important thing in existence. I believe that without justice, there's no meaning. Without meaning, we might as well just go off and kill ourselves. I don't want to kill myself, so I decided justice is the meaning. If you want to know more, you ought to ask one of the other two, or find one of our recruiters. They'll talk your ear off. Will do, thanks. I'm looking for a journal. Have you happened to see one recently? A journal? Nope, sorry, still new here, so I'm not all that connected yet. If I see one, I'll let you know. What are you doing? Well, seeing as I'm a new Mercy Killer, I'm supposed to bring a criminal to justice to show I can handle the field work. I decided I wanted to catch a killer, so we asked around and got told he was going to be here. Still haven't seen him though. I'm a little nervous, to tell the truth. If you'll excuse me, I really ought to get looking at the new faces here again. Cranes his neck and looks around. Has your killer shown up yet? Nope, not yet. But Turner says this is where the criminal's supposed to come eventually. So now we play the waiting game. Who are your friends here? They're the people who are here to make sure I don't foul up this assignment. Turner's the older one. Sildon's the one here who's here to make sure I do the job right and to give me support if I need it. He swallows noisily. I hope I won't. He'll be fine, I'm sure. Okay. Alright, the ad's gonna start in a couple minutes. So I think I'll go ahead and pause here for that. Before we start the next conversation. And then I will be back after the ads.